Yeah, it's interesting. You're allowed to grab the groin region now and squeeze it and do whatever you want to it. So that's an interesting rule that's just clearly been cleared by the AFL. So quite interesting that got off. I mean, we had really good evidence to support the case. And I tell you what, my groin region's quite bruised at the moment. So yeah, it's funny how that all happens.
Strong words from a former captain of a footy club against the current captain of another one. And what has emerged on the back of those words is that the AFL will take a look at this now, having initially dismissed it from a match review office perspective. I think they have to. I think you can't have those words now out there in the public domain the way Dayne Zorko-Touk's delivered. And albeit with the history he's got with that player and that club, without having at least a look at it.
Yeah,
what about the broken code?
Yeah, well, I think there's some incidents that don't go under the code.
I agree.
I think that would be one of those. It's not like a football-related incident or a collision that you would usually protect the opposition player. On this occasion, I support Dayne Zorko, and when I did read last night that the AFL had taken no action, I was surprised.
Was it put in writing that they investigated and there was no case to answer?
Well, it wasn't referred, and they actually referenced the fact there was no medical report assessing it. But when you see that, and when we covered it on the Sunday Footy Show, you were strong on it yesterday, that the AFL has picked up on it. Obviously, Dayne Zorko spoke about it today on SEN, and they're obliged to look at it. Now, what comes of that, who knows, and whether the Lions want to do anything on their behalf, we'll let it play out, but at least it's now being properly looked at.
Yeah, no love lost between those two. It didn't look great. Ben King, I know Hutchie put him up last week. I was waiting to see Hutchie tonight just to show what this guy can do, because I know he was questioning and Max King. Yes, he'd had a terrible month. He'd been really down, hadn't scored a goal. But this is why a club should be offering $1 million. Because could you imagine him playing for Collingwood or for Melbourne in this final
after
series?
the month he had, you couldn't offer $1 million.
No, I'm saying that why on the open market a club will just, in the next 12 months, Damo, will try and get
$1 million. Yeah. You can get a kick for
I know,
a month.
but I think it's a tough environment up there. They're not travelling that too well. And yes, you've got to do better than none in
The whole team willed him to do that. I've never seen a player more
but can I just finish?
supportive.
All I want to say is that people who doubt him, that let's look in 10 years' time at the career he's had, and I'm talking 600-700 goals from Ben King.
All right. Time now for Kane's close checking.
Thanks, Dane. I can't believe where Geelong are at and at risk of missing the final, so I thought we'd look at that and part of the reasons why, and we'll do that on close checking. We'll start with Tui and his defensive effort on Schultz. So that is there, the front position. Look at the score, the time of the game, crucial moment in the last quarter, and he lets him go. Couldn't believe it, no body contact whatsoever. He may as well be in the grandstand, front row of the grandstand. He's standing there and doing absolutely nothing. One of my favourite players is Tom Stewart, best ball user or one of in the league. Have a look at these turnovers in the last quarter once again. Twice here he's going to kick it into the man on the mark. You never see Tom Stewart make mistakes like this. Doesn't clear the mark, kicks it into the mark, all in the fourth quarter. The errors that they're making, the fumble there. Do they need to train more? Do they need to look at why they are scratchy? Once again, easy turnover under no pressure from a four-time All-Australian and one of the best ball users in the league. Something is going on. So too at Brisbane. 1, 2, 3 spares for the Lions, and they let Rao win a clearance v3. Anderson stand there with no one on him, and he kicks a stoppage goal. Rao also kicked a stoppage goal, so Brisbane's defence fell apart. The Cats have got issues with their midfield. This is the guy that I reckon that can solve it. Now, that's from the ruck. He went in as a second ruck, but I think you give him 5 minutes on ball to burst out, to give him something different. They've tried Tom Stewart in the centre bounce. This is the guy that you can go through. Look at the hunt here. Look at the intensity that he's playing with that his teammates aren't. 5 minutes a quarter. Would love to see Gary Rowan go on ball and help solve the Cats' issues. Last week it was the throw. This week it's the protected area. For some reason, the AFL no longer pay players running in the protected area. Mac Andrew, you can't do that. That is 50 metres shot on goal every day of the week. The umpires, the lack of the footy boss, have let that rule slip. It is now gone. They don't pay it anymore, and no one's explained to me why.